Hi everyone, welcome back to Nature's BS for our second time now. It's our second week. We're really loving it.
Yeah,
We're just the two of us
just
this week.
just the two of us. Just you've only got Nick and Andy, I'm afraid. No cat. She's off, probably knee deep in a pond somewhere looking for newts. So here we
Yeah,
go.
stuck with us.
Hi, I'm Peckable. Hey, Barnacle Bomb. And John O'Vulture, first time chatter. Thank you so much. And Pookie as well. Thank you, Pookie, for joining us again. Loads of hope you've all been having a fantastic week. How's your week been, Nick?
Yeah, it's been good. A few more days of nice hot sunshine and not torrential rain, so looking forward to having more of those.
I'd say not so much torrential rain, but I got soaked on Friday, so
But only Friday. It could have been all the other days as well,
it
but
could have been. But yeah, honestly, I was my jacket was still wet the next day when I had to put it on after when I was in a bird survey. So yeah,
completely sodden.
yeah, I was soaked through. It's quite amusing. All because the lens cap of my scope fell off, and I had to go all the way back to find it. And just as I was turning to go back to try and find it, the heavens opened. So
Oh no.
it
Did you find it?
happened. I did find it. I did find it.
That's the important thing. It's better than just going all the way back, just endlessly searching and then not finding it, and then just walking back in the
Very,
rain,
very
like a
true.
sad film scene or something
Yeah,
very
very
sad.
true. Yes, Barnacle Bomb. It was certainly one of those rainy days. Certainly one. But there's more on that later because that's part of my wildlife encounters, which was very cool. Having's teaching you a lesson to look after yourself. I wasn't the one carrying it. My partner was carrying it, and because I had a camera, a the camera bag, the what do you call it? My binoculars, and pretty sure I was also carrying the tripod as well. And Lisa was carrying the thing over the scope, and I don't know how the cap fell off, but it just seemed to fall off. So there we go.
Just one of those things.
Yeah, but I don't want to leave a bit of plastic out in the wilds. It's not good for the environment. So I went traipsing back to find it, and I did. Thankfully, it was about 200 meters back the way I came.
Imagine it felt longer in the rain.
It did. It felt a lot longer in the rain. A lot longer. But hey, these are the lessons we must learn. And to be fair, my clothes might not be waterproof, but I am. So
That's the important
that's
thing.
the important thing. I didn't get cold. I got a nice cup of tea and a bit of cake when I got back to the cafe. I was happy.
You earn the cake. That's good.
I need a golf cart, says John O'Vulture.
Just traveling around the nature reserve, golf buggy.
That'd be great, actually. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. Awesome. So please tell us in chat what you've been up to in the last week since we all saw you last. I've seen some fantastic images on our Discord channel and our Wildlife Encounters page. That's been amazing. More of them soon. Please keep the bee images coming as well. We're wanting as many different species of bees as possible because we want to show them all off next week. Because next week is our bee spotlight. Because obviously there's a lot of bees showing themselves in gardens, especially queens right now. And
Yeah, I've seen quite a few.
one of the guys I talked to at my work got a fantastic few pictures of a bee. So more on that next week. I was so excited when he showed me them on his camera, and I was like, oh, "Send them to me!" So I'll be talking about that next week
I'm
and
excited now.
showing them off. They are honestly they're stunning, absolutely stunning images. But there we go. Cool. Anyway, shall we move on to our wildlife encounters? Oh yes, barnacle bum. It's a ooh. Shall we move on to our wildlife encounters and talk about cool
Yes, let's
things?
go for it.
Awesome. I'm going to let you go first. What is your first
I'll
wildlife
go
encounter?
first. I'll start off with a high note. I'll go straight in my snow buntings that I saw.
Snow
So this was
buntings.
last week. Um, I was going off to work, and then my friend was like, "Oh yeah, there just happened to be some snow buntings where we're going. Maybe we'll go and see those." Like, oh, quite nice. So we finished a bit earlier, and he took us over, and it's on like a small headland where they were last spotted, like kind of next to the memorial. So we got to the memorial, couldn't see them, so they started wandering down. And my friend said, "Oh, I know that guy." And there's just this bird just walking off in the distance. So we started following them because they probably knew where the snow bunting was. And then as we were walking towards them, two birds came flying over the top of us, like, it's the snow bunting. Luckily, they didn't just fly off and never to be seen again. They landed a bit behind us, and a few minutes later came back. Um, and really nicely, they landed on like a slight ridge, but right on top of the ridge. So we were a bit lower, had our scopes just looking up, and they were perfectly on top. So they have a really nice view. We watched them for a few minutes. Um, but it was really exciting. I've never seen snow bunting before, so
Ooh, it's a
I
lifer.
was loving it. Yeah, it was a lifer for me.
That is very nice.
Um, and
Great
they're
photo.
really
Nicely
close as
defined
well.
against the sky. You are right, barnacle bum. Lifer
They knew
pie,
where to
says
perch.
Pookie.
But no,
I've
they're
got a
really
lifer as one
close.
of my wildlife encounters as well. So
Really.
yeah,
It's been a good week.
it's been a very good week. I got quite a few lifers, but I didn't get pictures of most of them, so
Oh.
they're a bit too far off. But yeah, definitely one of them I'm showing. So
Hmm. They were really close though, and they stayed for a good few minutes. So I was glad it wasn't a fleeting glimpse of, oh yeah,
yeah.
that was technically a snow bunting. Really got to appreciate them up close, which was really nice.
What's the magnification on your scope?
Um, it's not my scope, it's work scope. I think it's 20 or 25.
Yeah, 20's good. 20's
Mm.
good.
Hmm.
That's what I normally use as a 20, and then I've got the ability to go up to 60 on mine. But the problem is that so you twist the end and you get up to 60, and you can see, but you can't just look straight in. You've got to position your eye then on the lens
Yeah.
to try and find the actual perfect pinpoint bit that you can actually see
Hmm.
60 from. But
Yeah, I've never been very. Whenever I use scopes which do zoom, I always just use the um like the minimum
the minimum
zoom.
20, yeah, I much prefer the 20 on it.
Yeah, I think
Very
I've only
much
used
so.
it once or twice just to see really far in the distance, but I feel like I just have better definition on the minimum
Yeah,
zoom.
cool. Right.
Um,
So that's
so
your
that was
first
one
one.
life.
Snow bunting. That's a great start.
Yeah. So walking back from seeing the snow bunting, and then we're getting in the car, and then my friend was like, "Oh, there's some black-tailed godwits just feeding next to that pond." I was like, "I've never seen black-tailed godwits. What's going on?"
Second lifer.
So second lifer in about 15 minutes. It was great. Um, so yeah, I've never seen black-tailed godwits before, so I was very happy at this point. Um, yes, they were just feeding next to a. It's not really a pond; it's just a flooded corner of the field, but it's a semi-permanent pond, really. Um, there's some ring plovers around it, a few oyster catchers,
Ooh.
and then just these two black-tailed godwits. Uh,
Yeah, these are passing through at the moment on their way to their breeding grounds. So I,
hmm.
I believe, which is very cool.
Whereabouts do they breed?
I don't know exactly. Our unofficial national bird. Oh, that's very cool, Pookie. I was not aware
Wow.
that the black-tailed godwit is the Netherlands' unofficial national bird.
Does that mean they breed over there then?
Possibly. Let's have a look. Where do they breed? Okay, so where do the gods of wit? Where do black-tailed? Come on, I'm writing
I
this
imagine they've got to
honestly.
be somewhat populous over there if they can be a national bird. Oh, I guess it's unofficial national. What's your official bird? If you know that, Pookie, I'm curious to know what that is. So I remember we had a Robin quiz back on RSPB Twitch TV, and one of the questions was the robin is the unofficial bird of, I think it's England or the UK or something. It was true or false, and I can't remember if it was true or false. I think that it is the unofficial bird, but if anyone has a better memory. Oh, we don't have. Oh, so it's just unofficially because there isn't an
You don't
official
have
one.
one. So apparently, black-tailed godwits have a discontinuous breeding range stretching from Iceland to the far east of Russia. The breeding habitat is river valley fens, floods at the edge of large lakes, damp steppes, raised bogs, and moorlands.
Wow.
So
Do
there
they
we
breed
go.
in the UK at all?
I expect that they probably do then.
Wow.
General Vulture says yes, they do.
Oh, that's nice to know. Yeah, we don't really have, not really wetland in that area, so I imagine they were, you said, just passing through at that point. But who knows where they're off to or coming from.
Yeah, that's great. I've got black-tailed godwit as one of my wildlife encounters too. So
Snap.
more on that later.
um, my next one is a drone fly. So I've been getting into my hoverflies recently. I've only seen a few, but my friend's big on his hoverflies, and that's his goal for this year is to get good on hoverflies. So I'm keen just to learn anything. So I was like, I want to join you on this kind of adventure of hoverflies. So this is the first species I'd seen this year, called the tapered dronefly. Sometimes it's called the dronefly. Scientific name is Eristalis pertinax, just to avoid any confusion. But it's a really lovely dronefly. I really like this picture because it's just a nice kind of display. So to help you idea it, yeah, it's probably just kind of
It's a
like, here I am.
perfect plan image of an insect.
I just saw it on a window. I was like, oh, perfect. And it's just a lovely reflection. So one of the things that helps you identify it as a tapered dronefly is the middle and front legs. They're a yellow, like a pale yellow, and that's one of the identifying features. Another interesting thing I learned about the dronefly is that the males have like the eyes at the front, the really large eyes. This photo here is of a female because the eyes are separated, but in the males, the tops of the eyes are actually touching at the top.
Ooh.
So it's actually quite a large difference if you see them next to each other. So the one in the photos are female because they're separated, but males have them touching. And I was trying to do some research on if there's like any reason for that, because I feel like having different sized eyes is quite a big change instead of just more colourful feathers or not colourful feathers. I couldn't find anything. I thought it was an interesting.
Maybe nobody's done any research on it at all then, or if they have, if there is, hasn't been published. So.
I wonder if it is a reason why, because there's always reasons for things.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. I like that. Barnacle bomb and grease. Cool.
I'd recommend seeking them out in cooler times of the day, early morning, early evening, as they rest on leaves and stuff. Yeah, hoverflies. If it's like a really hot day, so yesterday for me it was actually surprisingly hot, and I was in the shade, not shade, like the shelter from the wind, so it was even hotter. But there were loads of hoverflies flying around. But they were flying around, and if you tried to have a look, they just scare off. So, what Barnacle Bum's saying is probably very good advice. This was on my way back from work in kind of like 5 or 6, just resting on the window. So, that's very good advice.
That's very cool. There we go. Right, what's up next?
Okay. Next one, I'll go on to my willow warbler. So, actually, this was another lifer for me this week. Actually, it's been a very good week. I've only really got into birding last summer or so, so I'm in that stage where like I'm getting lifers all the time, which is very fun. So, I can add that to my list and things like that. So this was at RSPP Conwy, if anyone knows that. A great reserve. It's a really lovely reserve, actually, as it's entirely artificial, all man-made. There's the Conwy estuary right next to it, and there's a tunnel, a canal that goes beneath it. So all the material that was dug up for the tunnel was put, like they had to put it somewhere, and they planned to make a lagoon out of it. So they kind of made basically a seawall, and kind of beds and bars between them. But it's a massive lagoon, kind of wetlands on the side, reed beds. I think it's an amazing reserve to know that's all from nothing really. So when they're this weekend, so we Saturday just gone, and they had their first willow warbler. I think it was the day before. So I was keeping up for the willow warbler. They're around. It was heard that morning, so we were walking around trying to look out for them, and I'm very not scared, but like looking at all the different warblers. I'm just like trying to like
So
if I
many.
saw a warbler, I'd have no idea which one it is. It's like wood warbler, chiff chaff, and all these different ones.
You can always tell the difference
Um,
by the song.
yeah,
So,
so we could
so
hear.
they very much sing differently. So,
Hmm, I recently listened to the wood warbler call, which is a really fun one, which my friend was describing as like a penny, which is like if you spin a penny and then it starts to land, and just that final
yeah,
second goes zzz,
yeah.
which I thought, oh, that's quite a good interpretation. Then I listened to it and it's almost spot on, which is really cool.
Grasshopper warbler sounds like a grasshopper.
I haven't actually listened to that one. We do
I,
get them on one of our reserves, so I need to
yeah, I do
be prepared
recommend
for that
listening to
one.
grasshopper. The ones I would learn. The easiest one's chiff chaff because it goes chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff. So it's like you can kind of tell when you're listening to a chiff chaff. Sette's warbler, sedge warbler, and reed warbler. Uh, they're the ones that they're the ones I normally see and hear. Other ones, willow warbler, I've seen a few. I couldn't tell you what they sound like, although I've heard them. I wouldn't be able to say, oh, it's a willow warbler. But yeah, there's so many warblers.
Yeah. Yeah, so I first heard the Willow Warbler on Saturday, and then after hearing it for the first time and really trying to listen out for it, it's ingrained in my memory.
Yeah.
So when I was at work yesterday, I was just hearing them everywhere. I was like, oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
Pookie
Warblers
asked the
gonna
question of
warble.
garden warbler. I've heard a garden warbler. The only reason I know that is because Merlin says I have. I haven't seen it, and I couldn't tell you what it sounds like. But I'm not
Looks
100%
like the
sure
other warblers,
on
I'm sure.
Merlin. Merlin's good, but it's not always accurate. So it could have been something else. And as Barnacle says, Warbler's going to warble.
Yeah, I remember my dad, who's like right in the middle of Devon, so very far away from the coast, and he sent like a screenshot of Merlin saying, "I had an oyster catcher apparently this morning." And like Merlin's like, "Yeah, that's an oyster catcher." I was like, "Hmm, probably not, but
Probably not.
you never."
It's true. It's true. I have seen oyster catchers inland before, so
Mm.
but it's
Um,
unlikely.
yeah, it's dozens of miles, probably 20, 25 miles from the coast. So
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
that'd be a nice surprise though, in the field or something.
Mm.
Next, I have some golden plovers. Um,
I do like a
so this was
golden
the day
plover.
after seeing my willy warbler. Went to the coast on Anglesey, and it was a really lovely day again. Um, Lots of surfers out, lots of tourists out, enjoying the sun. And we were just walking around, went onto this small headland, and we noticed, we thought, like both my partner and I were looking, we thought these were just rocks at first because they were so dead still. And then we got close, like, oh, that's birds. Because they looked just like garden ornaments. Like they weren't like moving their head or crude or anything. They just looked like they'd been stuck in the water, and that was it. Um, So we just sat there for a while watching them, having our lunch, and it looked like they're having a little game as the tide was coming in. So they're all standing on these rocks, and then one by one, it's like, oh, that wave was too much. I'm flying a bit further towards the rocks. So we're saying, oh, which one do we think is going to be the last plover standing? So we picked our plovers, watched them slowly fly in.
Who won?
But it's a I can't remember, to be honest. But it's a fun game.
Yeah, it's obviously not important. You enjoyed it, and you got to watch golden plovers all morning. That's ace.
Mm-hmm. But they're such beautiful creatures. If you ever get to see them up close or just standing still, not flying around, it really is like a proper golden color. It's really lovely.
It's a fantastic timing of the shot as well to get the ones on the ground and the ones in flight. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I was waiting. There's like a really small gully because we're on top of the headland, and I saw this guy. I was like, oh, I really want to photograph them, but I don't want to scare them off because they're actually really close, only about 15, 20 meters away.
Yeah.
So I thought if I can like shinny down that gully, almost on my back, and I can just put my hand around the corner. And I do that, and I was actually like lying on my belly to get the photos. I just really didn't want to scare them away.
Ooh, that's an interesting fact from Pookie. Oyster catchers nest on horizontal roofs that have gravel on them, office buildings, warehouses, etc. Oh, I was not aware.
Wow, that's cool.
Because Pookie gets them where he is, not close to the coast. So there you go. So they definitely do go inland.
Wow,
I suppose you do
cool.
get them around like anywhere that's got like good water as well. I would expect them to be. And I do remember seeing them in fields.
Yeah, I've seen them in fields like
after the rains
near
and
the
stuff
coast and things. So I don't know how far they venture inland. That's really interesting to know.
I do like an oyster catcher, especially when they fly. I always mistake them for something else, and then I hear the call, and I'm like, okay, it's an oyster catcher.
Yeah, they're just letting you know, I am an oyster catcher.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. Yes.
Don't worry, Andy, I'm an oyster catcher. Please take a photo of me.
I love the eyes of oyster catchers as well.
Yeah. And the beak. That bright orange beak. Oh, it's lovely.
I'd love to be that first person who saw an oyster catcher on top of like an office block or something. And like, wait, what's the oyster catcher doing there? It's like, I'm going to have a nest on this office block now.
From now on, we are known as office catchers.
Catching all the office workers.
There we go. Golden plovers, great. That's amazing.
Yes, that was really lovely seeing them. I imagine their transition, because their pattern's quite patchy, some of them in the photo. So I was wondering, is this them transitioning from their winter into summer plumage?
Oh, it could be.
I don't know how much variance they have from bird to bird.
I don't know either, actually. It's not. Waders aren't really my strong suit. I very much love my garden birds, and I'm trying to learn as much about waders as I possibly can. So, if anybody knows in chat, please let us know. They hide so well in the moorland. Are you talking about golden plovers here, Barnacle Bum? I'm not expecting that with oyster catchers. Yeah. So golden plovers. That's good. That's good to know.
A black rock in the middle of the heathland.
Yeah. A bright orange beak sticking up.
So next one is an oak egger caterpillar. So after walking back to the train station from seeing the golden plovers, walked through some sand dunes, which was lovely, and then along the side of a lake. And I can't remember exactly where it was, but I just remember seeing it. And in the sun, you can see like the bits of orange and the bits of blue were just really vibrant. And I must have been leaning down for some reason, maybe tying my shoelaces or seeing a hoverfly or something. But just seeing out the corner, I just that really vibrant color was really, really lovely.
Is that the first caterpillar you've seen this year?
I've seen quite a lot, actually. No, oak eggers. What else have I seen? I saw a tiny one on Saturday, or Raspberry Conway. It's tiny one, must have been just over a centimeter long, but dangling from a thread.
Ooh.
Like I almost walked into it and I had to move it because it was right on the footpath in case someone else did. And I tried to ID it, but I have no idea. It's just very small brown caterpillar. Have seen a few. I want to say maybe a dozen or so, just
I haven't seen
here and there.
any yet. I've seen them attacking my plants, but I haven't seen any.
Seen the aftermath.
Yeah, I've seen the aftermath. I call them Figaro caterpillars. They look like an old pet cat I had with the same name. Oh, that's cool.
Aww.
Figaro, Figaro, Figaro.
Do they sing opera or something like that?
Must do.
What's my next one on the counter? I have.
You got two more. You got a big bird, and
Yes.
then you have a very cool thing on a branch.
Hmm. I'll go with Big Bird first
You go with the big
because
bird first,
that thing on
okay?
a branch is my big highlight of the week. So I did a nice walk on Monday on my day off as a bank holiday, and it was a bit drizzly, but I really wanted to go on a walk, so I thought I'm just going to go for it, and it wasn't too drizzly. Um, and it's I went to one of the reserves we have right on the coast, and I went onto the beach, sat on the beach, and I was like, oh, there's a black bird up there, kind of 150 meters up the coastline. Got my bins out. I was like, oh, it's a black swan, and I've only seen them from really far away. Like you have to have the bins to see any detail. Um, and I saw it was coming towards me. I was like, oh, maybe if I sit really still, it would come quite close. And then a few minutes later, it came 10 meters or so.
Oh,
Like it just didn't
nice.
even care I was there, which is lovely. I'd never seen one so close, and just seeing like a full-on black bird with a striking red bill and the eye um, was really lovely.
I think they're stunning, black swans. I got really good views of them at St James's Park in London. So if
Oh,
I don't know if they're there all the time, but when I was there for the day, they were just. I was on a bridge going across the lake, and they just swam underneath the bridge. Amazing.
wow, that's cool.
That's a
Yeah,
nice
if you get
park
the chance to
actually.
see them up close.
Yeah, a nice park
Yeah,
actually. There's lots of stuff there.
I think I. It sounds familiar. I think I must have been there ages ago. I haven't been to that area for quite a while now.
A more goosey looking beak. Never thought about that actually regarding the beaks of swans and geese. They hang around with
Hmm.
pelicans at James's Park. Yes, yes, the pelicans at St James's Park as well. There are pelicans there, all year round.
I've never seen the pelican there.
There you go. You can
Should go and
tick that off
visit.
as a lifer too, just by going to St James's
Yeah.
Park in London.
um,
I remember watching one of the pelicans trying to eat a small dog. Yeah, it's quite funny.
what was the dog's reaction?
Yelped.
I feel like I would too if I was just being eaten by a pelican. I've seen, of all things, them trying to eat capybaras, of them just like standing
Oh,
next to
they'll
them, just
eat anything. There's a fantastic wildlife photographer on YouTube. He's on Twitter. He's on Instagram. All these things. He's called Mark Smith. It's Mark Smith Photography, and he's like an expert in ospreys and like American eagles and things like that. His videos are
mm,
immense. But there's one video that I've watched where a young pelican is so hungry that it's trying to steal fish off of osprey, and it
wow.
eats the osprey. The whole osprey goes into the beak, and you see the osprey's
What?
claws coming through. You know the thing. Honestly, Barack Obama says, "Oh, I remember that." Honestly, you've got to look this up. It is. If I'll try and get it for next week, okay, and we'll go off bees a little bit for that one thing. I'll see if I can find it, and or I'll post it on our Discord channel. It is an amazing video.
What's the outcome of that?
Oh, the osprey gets away with its fish.
so it just claws its way
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. Well, no, the osprey, the pelican realizes if it doesn't let the bird go, it's going to lose its whole jaw. So it just opens up, and the osprey comes out. Yes, it was insanely ambitious by the pelican.
I'm just really hungry. I just get a freebie with my fish.
Yeah.
Just a nice osprey with it.
But
That's
do
amazing.
check Mark Smith photography out. I find his stuff phenomenal. He's like,
I will.
it's so inspiring, and it's the kind of level I aspire to. I don't think I'll ever reach it, but it's that thing that gives you something to push towards, and I'd love to be able to
Hmm.
capture videos like that. It'd just be yeah, it'd be fantastic. So an
Maybe one
all
day
you
we'll
can
see a
eat buffet
pelican.
fail. Yes, John Vulture, it is an all you can eat buffet. He's wanting the bird and the fish. He couldn't decide what he wanted, so he took it all. Yeah,
I was not expecting that story to go there.
yeah.
I was saying maybe it dropped the. I wasn't expecting to eat the entire osprey.
Yeah, anyway, getting back to black swans.
Yes, black swans.
I didn't
One
realize
thing.
they have that lovely white part on the tip of the bill as well.
Yeah, I never noticed that as well.
That's
It's
very
just so
cool.
nice being able to see them up close. I love the pattern. I'm not sure if it's just the light and if it's always as prominent, but just seeing like the edges of the feathers,
Yeah,
like on its back, just a really nice pattern there. I saw it had a loose feather as well. Like you see, there's one which
yeah,
is
yeah. The white one
almost
just
all the way
sticks
out to
out
the
there. Yeah,
white half.
that'll be pulled out shortly as it
Yeah, it was
cleans
fluffing
itself
around
and
with
stuff.
it
Yeah.
as it was going past. Barnacle Ben says you're not supposed to eat the waiter too.
That's a great line. Oh,
Yeah, never
brilliant.
go to dinner with a pelican. That's what we've learned. I didn't realize that black swans aren't actually native to this part of the world.
Oh, okay.
They're established breeding. Oh, sorry, they're native to Australia, which I didn't realize. And they were introduced like to the UK and Western Europe. And there's an established breeding population in East Norfolk, centred on the Broads. If anyone's near there,
Lovely.
which I didn't know.
I didn't know that either, actually. But so they're from the other
Hmm.
side of the world. But like most Victorians, they decided to bring everything over here.
It's like, oh, I want one of those.
Yeah,
Yes.
just like your story last week regarding the American trees that are doing better over
Mm,
here than they are in the States.
yeah,
Apparently, there's more of them. Like you were saying, there's more of them here than there is in America.
way more. I think it
Yeah,
was a few thousands, maybe tens of thousands
yeah.
in where they are originally, but I think 500,000 or something ridiculous in the UK, which shocked the researchers as well. I think they said they never realized there were that many, but then once you start looking out for them, they're actually everywhere.
Barnacle asks, are they related to the more familiar white swans? So that would be the mute, the whooper, and the Buick. Buick,
I
is it?
don't know that. I'm not
Buick.
sure
It's a
if
car.
what.
I said Buick Swan. That's a car. The Buick. An American car. That's what we're on about.
I don't know actually. I don't know what the range of our traditional white
Yeah.
swans are. I don't know if they extend into the southern hemisphere at all. Um, they do look very similar, but I don't know the answer to that one.
The Cyril buntings that were exported to New Zealand are doing better there than here. As are hedgehogs. Doing far better in New Zealand than they are in the UK.
Yeah, they're having a great time, aren't they, eating all
They
the
are.
eggs?
They're actually classified as a pest. So in New Zealand.
Bring them back. Would happily
Well,
have them
that's
back.
what I said. What they need to do is they need to capture them all, put them onto a boat, ship them all back to us, or in a plane and ship them all back to us, and then we can release them in the UK, and then the world
That'd
will
be
be good.
nice. Long penguin says Barnacle Pub.
You're welcome to ours.
Yeah, so I've left my best wildlife encounter last. So this is a fungus I saw, and its name is amazing as it's called Tongues of Fire, which is a very majestic name, and it looks really alien-like. It's a really weird-looking fungus. Um,
When I first saw this, do you know what I thought of?
what's that?
I thought of anemones underwater.
It does look a lot like anemones, yeah. It basically, yeah, it does actually look like that. Just kind of stick an anemone in a tree.
Yeah, honestly that when I saw this, I was like, wow. Where
I was
where
like that as
where
well.
did where did you find this?
So, this was at one of the reserve I work at in North Wales, and it has a really interesting, well, not interesting story. Um, Basically, we went there at the beginning of the day just to try and cover what to do with our volunteer work party we're having later on. And one of the special things about the reserves is the juniper bushes, the wild juniper bushes we have. So they're not cultivated, anything like that, they're just wild. And we're walking around, and I noticed this on one of them. Um, and they're about several centimeters at most. Some of the larger ones, it's not quite hard to see the scale.
Yeah.
And this particular plant had, I see, like it was completely covered in it. Um, and then we have a few dozen juniper plants on the reserve. So we had a look, and it was on just about half of them, like just over half. It was 14 out of 27 we were having a look at. So I was trying to ID it, not so successfully, and eventually found what I think it is, and what quite a few of us were thinking it is, which is tongues of fire, or its great scientific name of Gymnosporangium clavariform, which I'll put in the Twitch chat because it's just a great word. Um,
Wow.
so that's what we thought it was, and there are like a few things we're using to ID it. Main thing that it was on wild juniper because the Gymnosporangium family, most of them do uh, host on parasitize. I'm not sure what the right word is there. Infect, infect.
Possibly. Like they're normally parasitic.
Yeah,
Parasitic?
parasitize.
Parasitize? I don't know.
They yeah. So all of the um, like there are a few which this could have been. Just looking at pictures and references and descriptions. So it's either Gymnosporangium clavariform or Gymnosporangium confucius. If I see Confucius, I'm like, oh no, that's the most annoying species name because it's probably just be confusing with other things. Um, but looking into the Confucius species, it's only on cultivated juniper, and this is wild juniper. So we knew
Okay.
it couldn't have been that one. So we narrowed it down to this one species, and looking at its distribution around the UK, we worked out there are no verified records in the entirety of Wales. So
It's a
we
first
might have
then.
found its first record in the whole of Wales, which would be very exciting. And I'm trying to get in contact with like local fungus groups and recorders. Um, we've sent it off to Cofnod, which is our like ecological recording um, organisation in Wales. Haven't heard back yet. It would be very exciting if it is.
That'd be
Um,
very cool. You have to keep us informed because if it
I
is,
definitely
that's an
will.
amazing find.
Be really exciting if it is. Um, and whilst researching it, I found that was some really interesting life cycle. So in junipers, its primary host, this fungus produces a set of orange tentacle-like spore tubes here called teleal horns, and these horns expand and have a jelly-like consistency when wet. The spores are released and travel on the wind until they infect a hawthorn tree, and this is its secondary host, where the fungus produces yellowish depressions on the leaves, and it also infects the fruit, which grows whitish tubes like a medusa head. These are the spore tubes, and the spores released will go on to infect another juniper to complete the life cycle. And I never noticed, well, no, never came across a fungus which has two stages to its life cycle, with like a primary host and a secondary host, and then back to the
Hmm.
primary again. Which I'm not sure if that's rare within like the fungus domain. I thought it was very cool because I hadn't come across anything like that.
More
So
study must
now
be done.
I know we're looking around for all these hawthorn um, trees and leaves now after this. Um, one of the things we were a bit concerned about because fungus on a plant usually isn't the best sign for the plant.
Yeah.
Um, so these juniper bushes were really important for the reserve. She thought, oh wow, cool species of fungus. Oh wait, cool species of fungus on our juniper. um, doing the bit of research says it doesn't cause serious damage to the junipers, but does cause quite significant loss of haw production in the hawthorns. So hopefully our juniper will survive, which would be really sad if it doesn't. Um, but cool orange tentacles,
Yes.
so it's all good.
That is very cool. Very cool
And
indeed.
that's been my highlight of the week and highlight of probably a long time.
That is very cool. I gotta say, you've blown my stuff out of the water, big time, big time. Because
Yes,
like
you got a life.
the possible first ever sighting of something in a country is, yeah, that's mad. Well done,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yes, if you ever come across a juniper plant, keep an eye out for them because
Yeah.
they're actually quite rare across the whole of the UK. I think there's only several hundred records in total across the entire UK. So it's worth keeping an eye out because they're just really beautiful up close. It's very
Oh, yeah,
alien-like.
yeah, definitely. Cool, cool, cool.
So what have you seen?
Ooh. So I've done a few things in the last week since we last saw each other. So I got up Friday morning. It's Good Friday, and it was nice and early. I think it was at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I opened the curtains and I was like, "Ooh, the weather's good." Turned out my partner and went, "We're going somewhere," and she was like, "What? What?" I was like, "We're going somewhere. Get up, come on, stop being lazy. Let's go. I know it's your day off, but I want to go somewhere." And I packed her in the car, and we headed off to Frampton, RSPB Frampton Marshes in Lincolnshire. I've never been there before, and I heard that I had the possibility of seeing a male hen harrier there. I remember Birder Chris had said something on RSPB Twitch TV that male hen harrier had been spotted. So I was like, stuff it. It's probably not there. I'm probably not going to see it, but I'm going anyway because I've never been. So off we went. And as I
A good
walked,
excuse to go.
yeah, yeah, exactly. As I walked into the visitor centre, I was greeted by somebody, and you may have seen this image already on Discord, but this is this is the lesser known fact checker who is sometimes in chat. I'm wondering if he's in chat today. But yeah, and Jono also knows who this is because Jono also posted the picture of this person. But it took me a couple of minutes to realise who it was because he just made a comment and I was like, "Do you watch the channel?" He was like, "Yeah, I do." Then I looked at his name badge and I went, "I know who you are."
That's great.
So you've all got to try and make a guess now of who this lesser known chat celebrity happens to be
How
before
is he
I
covering his name
he's
badge?
covering his name badge so so it's not
He's
given away.
he's all part of it. That's great.
Amazing. It was great. It was fantastic meeting him. Great chatting away. He was really informative about with best places to go and stuff where at the reserve as well, which is fantastic. Pookie says BC. Oh, it's not the birder himself, says Barnacle.
The one and
Yeah,
only.
it is the one and only birder Chris, which has been brilliant. Yeah, it was fantastic to meet him. So yeah, that'd be a birder Chris. There we go. Anyway, so
Wildlife spotted.
yes, so I started heading out onto the reserve after I thought I had a nice bacon butty and a cup of tea, and I wandered off and went looking for male hen harriers, and I was also told there was lesser yellow leg there. The lesser spotted birder Chris. Yes, indeed, Barnacle Bum. The lesser spotted birder Chris. Yeah, but lesser yellow legs. Definitely a lifer. That's lifer number one of mine. There
Wow.
was a green-winged teal drake, and he also showed me where to go to hopefully see the male hen harriers.
Mm.
None of those three things did I see. I spent about an hour searching for the the green winged teal. I spent about while I was looking for that, I was also scanning the other side of the seawall looking for the male hen harrier. Didn't see that. And then I went looking for the lesser yellow leg, and I didn't see that either. But the first bird I did see is also one that you saw, which happens to be, I believe, a black-tailed godwit. There it is there.
Hey.
It's a far off distant view. I do believe there's also bar-tailed godwits there as well, but I didn't get any good images of them.
Oh, that's a nice image of that one. Though. I like that.
I like the fact that it was in the water and you couldn't see its legs.
Mm.
It looked like it was bobbing. So my next one is a lifer for sure. And they are these little, I say little, they're not little at all. They are Brent geese. Hence the name Brents in our title for this evening. I'd never seen Brent geese before. I was looking at them and I was like, oh, are they such and such? And then I got closer and I went, no, they're not. They're Brent geese. I thought it was very, very funky. And I got some decent pics. But what was even more surprising is I didn't realise that Brent geese have two different tones. So their bellies can either be light or dark. So you can have light-fronted or dark-fronted Brent geese. And they're just the same species. It just depends on how they come to be, I
How they're
believe.
feeling that day.
Which I thought was quite cool. And there was
Yeah.
loads of them. There were so many. If I was to say that there was a certain bird that outnumbered the rest, I would say it was Brent geese outnumbered everything else there.
Wow.
So, but that's only because you can see them, because they're big lumps of things. There we go.
Do you know if these were the pale or dark bellied?
They are the pale ones.
They're pale ones.
Yeah. The dark ones literally looked like they were all black all the way down. And then
Oh, really? Oh,
and then they
wow.
had the white bum. So there we go.
I love their kind of white collars.
Yeah. And it only goes around the front. I didn't realize it didn't go all the way
Oh,
around. It wasn't a
really?
ring. It was literally goes from basically
It's just
this
like a
small
deep-
gap of black down the back, and then you've got. And it kind of looks like it's two necklaces. About 10% of Europe's population winter at Frampton. Now that is cool, John O'Vulture.
Oh my gosh.
That's an amazing stat.
No wonder you saw so many then.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very excited to see them. Obviously, lots of other people looking at them going, "Ah, it's only Brent geese," and me going, "Click, click, 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 click." So yeah, my next
It's a
one.
lovely photo.
Oh, thank you. My next one are Dunlin. I like a good
Yay.
Dunlin. Dunlin are cool.
Mm. Oh.
There was one pale belly in the flick on Thursday last week. Oh, okay.
I haven't seen them for a while. I think I saw a pair. Must have been before New Year's, like last year sometime. That was the first and only time I'd seen them, but they're really beautiful birds.
Yeah, I like I say, I was surprised at how lovely they were. In the black, it's very similar to that black swan when you got the right angle and you could see like the way the feathers meet. It was just beautiful birds, stunning things. So yeah, so little dunlings here, quite a lot of these as well. And like I say, I do like a dunlin, but the same size as a plover, running around, long thin beaks. It's very cool. But in amongst them, there was another bird. And this could be a dunlin or it could be a sanderling. And I'm not sure which one it is. So I'm hoping somebody in chat might be able to help out. And that is this image here. And the reason I think this might be a sanderling is because it's far paler. So they look very similar, but it's got a much paler front.
It does look a lot paler, yeah.
So you can see, I'll bring the other one back again, so you can see the difference. And you also notice that the neck, so the neck of the Dunlin, the darker feathers start further down and come up all the way up the chin to the beak. Whereas this one, the Sanderling, doesn't have that. It's got a full white frontage. So I'll bring them back. There's the Dunlin again.
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. When you see that,
And then there's what I think is a Sanderling. So yeah.
hmm. I'm not great on my wages. I'm still learning my way through them.
Yeah, this is you're in the same position as me, but finding little things like this and going, oh, could it be this or could it be this? I find that quite exciting. So
Hmm. Yeah, it's like points. That's where you learn quite a lot, as
yeah,
you're saying, just looking really detailed at the plumage and the size and shape and things like that.
so yeah, two breeding populations of DBBG winter in the UK. DBBG, what's DBBG? Some from Russia and others from Iceland. Oh, Brent geese. Must be Brent geese.
Oh, dark bellied
Dark
Brentish.
belly Brent geese.
That's also one other thing I'm learning. All these bird acronyms. Getting on, it's like GBBGs and all these
Oh,
different.
okay. There's a good call from Barnacle Bomb. So is there a
Oh,
difference in the beak? So one curved and one straight. So this one looks like it's got a slightly curved beak, ever so slightly dipping
yeah,
down.
I'd say that as well.
And then this one, no, I think that this one's also got a curved beak as well.
Oh, no.
I think it's also got a slight curve. If you look at the one on the left, it looks like it's got a curved beak too. The one on the right, the
Yeah.
front there, looks like it's got a straight beak, but that just might be the angle. But this one looks like it's got more of a curve at the tip, whereas the other one looks like it's only got a curve at the base. So
See
so
if Bird Crest's
difficult.
still there. Go back and ask.
I could do. I might go back. But yeah. Might go back. I will go back. It was an amazing day. I loved it.
It sounds amazing.
Other than the fact I got absolutely drenched. Sodden through right to the skin.
If you can still enjoy that, you can tell it's a
Yeah.
good day if you still enjoy it.
But there we go.
Hmm.
Cool.
Barnacle says, I'm quite happy to go, ooh, lovely waders, and leave my knowledge there.
I don't believe you blame you, Barnacle Bomb. Don't blame me at all. Cool. So another lifer for me.
Wow, it's a whole week of life for
Is a
us.
whole week of lifers. Is this Gadwall duck.
Oh,
And if Quizzical Quack was in chat, I'm sure she'd be very happy to see a duck as a Gadwall.
lovely.
It's starting to get quite dark at this point, so the lighting's not great on it, but
You can still see it nice, which is good.
yeah. I think
I
that's.
just love the patterns in the water, like the ripples and waves. Just adds a nice quality to the pictures.
I think it might have been drizzly at this point as well, but I was in a nice bird hide at this point, so I was staying dry.
Mm.
So that was
I
cool.
was doing that as well when I was looking at the black swan. I was like going back to the reserve, and it'd been lightly drizzling all day, and then I got through a hide and it just raining heavily. But I was happy. I was just watching this little grebe foraging around. So
Yeah,
bird hides are good.
bird hides are great. Cool. So last week I was showing great crested grebe. I've got another great crested grebe because there was loads at Frampton. But this one I was watching hunt and feeding,
Mhm.
and it came up and had a little fish in its beak. So I thought I would show that just because it's very cool.
Oh,
Not so cool
yeah,
for the fish, but
yeah. Sorry, fish. We featured the fish on the stream. That's
yeah,
got to be
it's
good.
famous now. Got its second to fame.
I love their summer plumage. The grebe, not the
Oh,
fish.
honestly,
Like,
there's something about great crested grebe. They're just. We talked about this last week. They're just magical. They do
mm,
look like they're out of a fairy tale.
Yeah, very unbird-like in like different ways, but just so beautiful in so many others.
Yeah. I lied. There is another lifer. I realise this next bird is a lifer for me as well.
Just ticking them off.
Yeah. And it's another plover, but this one is a little ringed plover.
Oh, I loved ringed plovers.
And when I
Oh,
saw this, I thought it was a ringed plover.
hmm.
And then when I got the picture, when I got home and I started looking at all the images, I realised it was a little ringed plover.
Oh, oh, it's so tiny. I just love plovers. Ringed
Now,
plovers,
why?
golden plovers.
Why is that? Give me a second.
Oh no, Impeccable has been
Yeah,
warned about not to get too excited about ringed plovers.
I don't understand why. There's nothing
Maybe it's
wrong with
all
the term
caps or
ringed plover.
something.
I'll have to look at. Oh, it's because it says stop spamming caps. No, don't worry about that. I will update Nightbot. Sorry about that. Impeccable.
Continue your love for ringed plovers.
Yes, please do. Please do. I will update Nightbot. We AF.
A
if you
wee ringed plover.
if you know what AF means. For me, it's as. I want to say as fuck. Yeah, we as fuck. After getting into a pickle with calling some little. There we go. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was very cool. I like that little
that
ring
was a
plover.
really good trip.
And then one of my favourite wading birds, just because I love their call
Hmm.
and the sky dances that they do all the time. Are lapwings.
Oh, that's a great photo of that guy.
Pookie living
Wow.
life on the edge with those caps. Yeah. No, I'm impeccable. Don't you worry about it. It's not your fault. That's Nightbot's fault and my fault for not setting Nightbot up to allow caps. I will sort it out for next week. Mods privileges, yes. But yeah, lapwings. Lapwings are I just think they're great, fantastic little birds, and I was quite chuffed with this image, especially with the fact that they're flying.
So were they displaying, you're saying?
They were displaying, yeah, quite heavily,
What
loads
was
of
that
them.
involved? I haven't seen that
So
before.
they go up and they do lots of like sky dancing and
Oh,
swinging.
wow.
It's basically sweeping around each other. Whether or not that's actually displaying or it's them chasing each other off of nest sites, I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Could be a bit of both. They're starting to do my head in at home in a lovely kind of way. They are very noisy birds, lapwings.
I've seen them overwintering, or like autumn migration, just like one or two. But I haven't seen them displaying before. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. It's definitely a screaming blue murder. You're right there, Barnacle. Honestly, you just it's all like them, them at one side of the reserve, and then the other side was a whole bunch of black-headed gulls, and that's all that I could hear on that side. So
Just a lapwing, black hair, just like where do you want to
yeah,
go in between those?
but yeah, it was great. So there was them, and then my final image, only because it got so close to me that I had to take a picture of it. I kid you not, it was like 5-10 meters away from the hide when I took this picture. Is this red shank? It was, honestly,
Oh wow.
and again, if that sat down and you were above it, you wouldn't see it
Hmm.
because of the colour and the feathers on the back. It's probably the best view I've ever had of a red shank.
It's lovely to be able to see it so close. Just the gradient in the bill, and
Yeah,
Oh, lovely. You had a great trip there, sounds
I
like.
did, I did. So that's the first part of my wildlife encounters.
That's only the first part.
The second part is a small video that I've put together. So I apologise for the editing. I haven't done editing for quite some time. But on Saturday morning, I did a bird spot survey in Sherwood. So I'm going to show a short video now. It's only about 2 minutes long, and we'll be right back afterwards, and I can talk about my experience because it was amazing, and I'm so can't wait for the next one. So we will be right back after this short video. So it's coming up for 5:20 in the morning. I've been up for about an hour. I'm about to head off for a bird survey, bird count one in Sherwood Forest. So yeah, just about to leave Nottingham. I will tell you when we get there. So we've made it. It's 6 o'clock to meet our buddy, and then we will get out into the forest. I wonder what we'll find. I'll keep you posted. So that's it over. Fantastic day, loads seen, highlights coming soon. Not a lot of pictures unfortunately, mainly due to the camera not working, but lesser spotted, great spotted, green woodpeckers, tawny owl, oh, some phenomenal things. So looking forward to the next one. And we're back. There you go. So that's just a short little clip of what happened that morning. I was very, very lucky to be going out with Green Indy, or Indy Kemmel Green, who is a well-known bird spotter, bird lover. He was on 8 out of 10 bats last year, and he's also been on Spring Watch showing lesser spots at Sherwood Forest, which is what we did directly after we finished the bird spot count. Is we went looking for lesser spotted woodpeckers and found one in about 3 minutes. So, so finally, I've seen a lesser spotted woodpecker this year. And yeah, it was amazing. I didn't get any good pictures of it, which is why I'm not showing that. But yeah, the bird survey was exceptional. We heard hawfinch. Didn't see it, but we heard it. The male sparrowhawk flew right past us. We watched it land in that tree, and then I managed to get the camera on it. A tawny owl, while we're moving towards one of the posts, a tawny owl flew at a tree directly above us and landed in another tree, and their carrying crow were going crazy. That was really impressive. Yeah, some phenomenal things. So I honestly cannot wait for the next one, which will be coming in the next month. But I'll have to get up earlier next time. So.
Oh gosh, yeah, sunrise seems so early now.
yeah, but yeah, I got up at 4:30. So it was it
Dedication.
was nuts, and I was sat in the kitchen having my breakfast about 5 o'clock, and the birds outside were going crazy. It was still pitch black, and the birds outside were going
Mm.
absolutely crazy, just singing songs and everything like that. It was immense. So I'm looking forward to Dawn Chorus Day in May, which
Yeah, I
I'm
did that last year,
yeah, I'm
and that was
definitely getting up
amazing
for
as hell.
that. Yeah,
Really
you
excited to go to
Barnacle
this
Bomb,
one.
well worth it. I've been sleeping ever since, but it was well worth it. Honestly, it was an amazing experience. And then on Monday, just past there, so a couple of days ago, the second Bud Bay survey was done. Unfortunately, I wasn't there because I was working on Monday. It finished about 10 o'clock, so I'm hoping to be on the third one, the third and final one of that, which would be great. And if I am, I'll do some recording for that as well. And I've already talked to Indy because myself and Indy will be going out to do the second Sherwood bird count, which is the one we've just done. And I've said, "Oh, would you mind if I brought a camera with me to do some recording?" And he was like, "No, no, that'd be cool. Let's do it." So hopefully, I'll get to do a video for that one as well, and we can maybe have a much longer video that we can put onto our YouTube channel that we can actually watch the whole thing, which would be very cool. Because it was about 2 hours, so I wouldn't want to show that the whole thing on stream, but put it on YouTube would be well worthwhile. So
Mm, I love just hearing the bird song.
yeah.
Like just as soon as you hear it, it's just just instant rest, relaxation. It's just an amazing effect it has on me.
Oh, it does the same to me as well. I was supposed to be saying, "Oh, there's a robin over there, and there's a thing over there," and I just couldn't because I was so relaxed. Hopefully, the next one will be better. So, but there we go. Very cool. So that's wildlife encounters.
Oh,
All
week.
done. All done. It's been great. It's been a fantastic week,
Mm,
but for both of us, by the sounds of it. So
looking forward to next week now.
yeah, I've no idea how I'm gonna top that. So no idea at all.
Wait and see.
Indeed, cool. So moving on to our next segment, which is our species focus. Oh, are you going to go first, or will I go first on this one?
Should I go first?
Okay, you go first. That's cool because
I'll
I'm
go
I'm
first.
very excited about this. He was
So
giving me a
I
sneak.
have
He was giving me a sneak peek earlier on, folks, and I was like, "Ooh, this is ace."
yeah. So I mentioned last week I had done some shark egg case ID training, and last week I hadn't brought along my egg cases, but this week I have. They're in a bowl because I have got sand all over my desk because I didn't wash them, so they're now in a bowl to not get the sand everywhere. But yeah, I found four species when I did that training, so I thought I'd talk about them as my species highlight.
Cool.
Um, if you do want to go to the beach or just come across an egg case on the beach and you don't know what it is, I can highly recommend the Shark Trust website. And they have some really good IAD guides um, available in a really wide range of languages, actually. It's very impressive. And it's really nice. They have two different um, ID sheets. They have like a single sheet of A4, like a single page, um, just saying here's what all these different species look like and roughly their size, or like all next to each other. That's great if you have just one like thing you can print off, put in your backpack or whatever, or just look at when you get home. And then they also have a bit more of like a flow chart, like more in depth ID um, one, which is also really great, which is what I used for the training. So it's things like looking at the size, the shape, different features on them, and saying like, does it have this? If so, go to this bit, or if it doesn't, then it's this species thing, which is really good.
That'd be really helpful actually,
So
because it means that you're looking for something specific on the casing, and then you go yes, no. Then it allows you to go,
yes,
okay, so what's the next bit? That is a thanks, Jono. Thanks for joining us.
see
Uh,
you next time.
yeah, you will do. But yeah, that would be really really helpful.
It's nice because you can with like just the one sheet seeing all these species and get a bit overwhelmed. I have no idea what mine. I don't know what to look for. But as you're saying, it's really nice. Just breaks it down to saying, does it have this one feature? Yes or no? And it's just it guides you through it really nicely. Um, I had no experience with a case ID, but I thought it was very helpful. So if you just come across something on the beach randomly or just want to get into it a bit more seriously, you can like download the app, or on their website you can take part in egg case hunts. So these are more formal searches. So instead of just walking along the beach and finding one and having a look, you kind of have a certain length of beach and you check so much and then you separate them and ID them and say how much you got and submit them, which is really important. We've learned a lot about the distributions, where there are breeding populations, where there are more or less sharks in which areas all across the UK. And it's just a lot of fun. So if you want, I guess Easter's just gone, but if you want to Easter egg hunt for shark egg cases, yeah, I'll talk about my eggs I found. So if you do come across the beach and find an egg case, then you might come across one of two types really. So we have this one here, which a bit more like long and cylindrical, and it has I see almost like hair or like these really like fine retangled tendrils. And then you can also find these ones, which doesn't have these tendrils, but it has these kind of like horns coming up on the side. Like, kind of see a
Yeah.
bit easier there. So these style of eggs are from like the true sharks. So those are the ones that look like a shark if you just imagine it. And then the ones here are from skates. So skates are still part of the shark family. They're related to sharks, but they're flat sharks. So if you remember my speech highlight, my wildlife
Thornback
encounter
ray.
last week. Yes, I was talking about thornback ray. So it looks a bit like a manta ray, just like a diamond shape with a tail. So they are still part of the shark family, and they lay eggs, which look a bit like this. And you also might come across rays, which are a group of animals, and confusingly, lots of skates are named rays. So like thornback ray is actually a skate, and rays give birth to live young, so they won't lay eggs. So you find an egg, you know it's not from a ray, it's from a skate or a true shark. So I have two of these true shark egg cases, see here, and in the ID flow sheet, if you're having a look through that, this would be like the first question of does it have like the horns here or the tendrils? And if you have these tendrils, the two species you can find are these two here, and their ID feature is just the size. So next to each other, you can really see there's a noticeable difference. And if you found them on the beach, you definitely be able to tell the difference. It's really easy. One thing to note, if you're looking especially at these ones here, which there are more species quite similar sizes, when the guide says 6 to 10 centimeters or something like that, it's important that they're hydrated. So they've been out of water, they're really hard and brittle, and they actually shrink a lot. I should have got a hydrated one for difference, but they can definitely go 1.5 times their current length when you've got them in water. So just in case you're a bit confused with the lengths of them, then put them in water for an hour or two, and then they'll get to the kind of their rubbery texture, but they're true size. So the two species here, I have some pictures I can talk about. So this one here is the nurse hound shark. So this one on the beach I was looking at was actually really common. These egg cases, found over 300 of them in a strand of about 50 meters. So I was very surprised to find that. I think in the UK these are generally the ones people come across the most. They're quite just because they're a bit brighter than these like black skate eggs. They stand out a bit more and they're a bit more populous. So you're more likely to come across these. So a bit about the nurse hound. length of up to 160 centimeters. So actually quite big. Um, Nurse hounds like to stay close to the seafloor, living in rocky areas with lots of algae. They hunt at night, feeding on cephalopods like squid and octopus, crustaceans like crabs and large shrimp, smaller fish, and even other sharks. During the day, they hide in holes and crevices in the rock, with several sharks sometimes resting in the same crevice. The nurse hound is also known as the greater spotted cat shark, bull huss, greater spotted dogfish, and rough hound shark. It's a lot of names for one species, which gets confusing. So that's the nurse hound egg case. I forgot to say, like, these tendrils, as I was saying, they live like algae and kelp and all these underwater plants. They lay their eggs, so these tendrils will get caught up in the seaweed. So that's why they stay submerged and where they are in place. So that's why I might come across on the beach as well, because maybe the egg case came loose or the seaweed it was attached to came loose. Now, I go to the small egg case, and this is from the small spotted cat shark. So this is the other true shark that lays its eggs around the UK. And this one's a bit smaller, at about 100 centimeters. So the nurse hound is also called the greater spotted dogfish or the greater spotted cat shark. So this one's the small spotted cat shark. And they do look a bit similar, like spots, like size of spots and things like that. But the small spotted cat shark is a small shark, so named due to the dark spots and blotches covering its skin. All sharks have very rough skin, covered in a hard dermal denticles, not tentacles, but denticles, which I keep on messing up when I say it. And dermal tentacles literally means tiny skin teeth. If rubbed the wrong way, they are very coarse like sandpaper, but it provides the shark with an effective chainmail like protection. Cat sharks are predators and feed on crabs, mollusks, and other small fish. When threatened, they curl up into a donut shape, probably to look bigger and harder to eat. They are highly common around the UK and live close to the seabed in shallow waters down to 100 metres deep. I forgot to mention these photos of sharks are not mine. I wish they were, but these are from the Wildlife Trust's page on the sharks, which are great if you're interested in species. They're really good, like species highlights of themselves on different things. So moving on. So these are the true sharks, and we're going on to the skates. Yeah, so they lay eggs, whereas the rays give birth to live young. They So with the tendrils of these shark eggs, they tangle around seaweed and foliage, but with the rays, they actually lay them on the seabed, like into the sand, so they kind of submerge the horns a bit like that. So the horns kind of stick into the sand and kind of sticks it in place. When I was researching skates, I came across some things which I was very surprised. So the skates which laid these eggs I found here are around a meter, like meter and a half at most. But the largest ray we might get in the UK is called the giant devil ray, and that measures out an average 6 to 9 feet wide. So almost like its wingspan, 6 to 9 feet, but can continue to grow to a max of 17 feet. And you can find those around in UK waters. These huge skates.
That's
No,
like
ray, sorry.
that's like silly big. 17 feet.
Yeah. So I thought,
It's like
wow,
the
that's
size
big,
of a
but
car.
I know. So that's big, but that's just the UK's largest. The largest in the world is the giant manta ray, which makes sense with its name. It's the largest ray and one of the largest fishes in the world, reaching widths, so its wingspan, of 29 feet. So that's
Okay, but
8.8 meters,
okay, my eyes
which is
just opened wide.
which is massive, and they can weigh up to 2.5 tons.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so they're found near the equator. Sadly, not around here. Um, yeah, I was looking that up. I was just even trying to fathom what 30 feet large fish would look like.
That's just crazy.
yeah, so that was a fun fact I found. So if you're scared of the ocean, I'm sorry about that. Um,
They're completely harmless to humans, but
yes, just give you a big hug. But yes, these two skate egg cases I found. If you go through the ID sheet, there's like a few things to look for. So there's like size, a bit like the texture. I don't think the texture would come across, but it's like lots of lines going this way.
okay,
Like
no,
those
I
might not
can't
come
quite see
across.
that. No.
No, I'm not
Oh, I
expecting
can see
to.
it there. If you pull it back, bring what's a
Oh,
bit closer to you, to the
oh no.
down, a bit more. There you go. There you go. That's it. I can see the lines there.
Ah, there's
Yeah,
like a not ridges, but just like you can see there's like a foliation almost.
that's cool.
Um, so sometimes there's one of the skates has almost like a washboard texture. So instead of just lines going in one direction, it's two directions. So that's something to look out for. But the thing which is quite an important feature is something called the keel. So trying to compare these two, I'm sure how it's easiest to see. So this one, can you see there's like a wrinkly texture, like wrinkly bit on the outside here,
Yeah,
but this one doesn't. So the wrinkled bit here is like an extra flappy bit, like a bit like if it was wearing a skirt, just like a bit of loose part, and that's called the keel. So it can be quite hard to see. It's better to see like in person, just feel it and see it. Does this bit's called the keel, and then one of the ID bits saying does it have a keel or not. So it, hopefully you can see, but this one has like that wrinkly keel. This one doesn't, so you can tell they're different species. Um, this one that does have the keel is the thornback ray. So the one I found washed up on the beach last week. That's this egg case here. So these ones are thornback ray or thornback skate, which is its kind of proper name because it is actually a skate, not a ray. They're closely related to sharks. Rays also have a soft cartilage skeleton. Their grossly oversized pectoral fins give them their distinct diamond shape and act a bit like an underwater wings. Thornback rays are found all around British coasts and feed mainly on crustaceans, though they are not above taking any fish that swims a little too close. The thornback ray likes to bury itself in the sediment during the day and come out at dusk to hunt. So that's the thornback ray. And then the final species I found is called the spotted ray. So that's the one that doesn't have the keel, and it is a bit shinier on the ID guide, so that's like another thing to look for, but it's hard to get across on camera. The last one is the spotted ray. So these only go up to about 80 centimeters across, long in length. And these are diamond-shaped spotted rays, one of the smallest skate species. It has a varied diet, eating crustaceans, worms, and fish. The young often live in shallow areas near the coastline known as nursery grounds, but adults are typically found further offshore. Spotted rays are able to reproduce more quickly than some of the other skates, making them less vulnerable to overfishing. So there's been my 4 species highlights.
but
Yeah.
the big question is, did you learn any of their names in a foreign language?
Oh, no, I
Oh, he forgot. Nick
was remembering
forgot.
there was something I hadn't
Nick
done.
forgot. I didn't forget. I didn't forget. You're going to get for me. You're going to get really really bad pronunciation. But we did get
Oh,
a 4 species highlight though instead of just one.
that's true. Next week, I will give you 4 foreign language names just to make up for it.
So Barnacle, I know that you like your underwater stuff. I've seen some fantastic images from yourself regarding that. Have you seen all of these creatures in the flesh? So thornback rays, spotted rays, nursehound sharks, and small spotted cat sharks. Be very cool to know if you have, or if anybody else has seen them. That'd be really good to know.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to see them. Okay,
I'd
so
love to be able
I've
to see
seen
them.
your egg case. Yeah.
I know somebody who probably has seen them all, and she's sat downstairs right now. So she does a lot of scuba diving. Does my other half, and she at
Wow.
least she used to. She was telling me a story about So when she was younger, after she left uni, she went on like hiking around the world, and she ended up in Indonesia somewhere, and ended up on a boat doing some scuba diving out in the Pacific Ocean. And she was helping a group of surveyors do some work at the bottom of the sea, and a massive shadow came across her, and she looked up, and there was a whale shark swimming over her head,
Wow.
which would honestly blow my mind. I'd probably use all my oxygen in my tank at that point. If I ever went scuba diving, I would drown, but I'd be happy because I'd known I'd just seen a whale shark. So we go. Barnacle Bomb says, I found small spotted cat shark and thornback rays washed ashore. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah, I'd
there
love
we
to be
go.
like below those animals, like just being able to like see like I don't know, like a fin of like a whale or
Yeah,
things like that. It's like, oh wow, that's amazing. But being underneath it must just be incredible.
yeah, it would have been amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. But there we go. Cool. So moving on to mine then.
Mm. Barnacle says, "Oh my god, that would be a huge shadow."
It was. I expect it would have been, yeah. She got to swim with it though, so that's like super jealousy. Green eyed monster sat here right now.
She gonna take you back there?
Uh, Possibly not. I've never done scuba diving. I think I'd struggle quite a bit. Yeah, thornback rays were in Portray or Portray Harbour in Skye, and cat sharks were closer to home. Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
I was in Portree 2 years ago, actually. I do like Skye. Skye's beautiful. If you've never been to
I've
Isle of
always wanted to
Skye or
go.
Isle of Mull, I highly recommend both.
I've seen Isle of Mull from Rathlin,
Yeah.
so seeing it for so long, I was like, I really want to go there and then look back. But I really want to go to Skye as well, just all of Scotland. I just want to
Yeah.
go and explore. It sounds
Stunning
amazing.
place. Stunning. Anyway, so my bird is actually one that I grew up with around me quite a lot. Uh, for my species focus, and it is the skylark. So I absolutely adore these birds. When I was younger, I used to play a lot of golf, and skylark would be everywhere. So whenever I was on the golf course, I would always hear them singing. So I'm going to start off with the pronunciation in a foreign language, and it's German, and it's Feldlerche is the name for skylark in German. Feldlerche. So Lerche is lark, and I believe Feld must be sky. So there we go. So Feldlerche.
Hmm.
It's one of our most celebrated birds in literature, poetry, art, and music. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote about it.
Wow.
It is one of 19 species that make up the UK farmland bird indicator. It is found across Europe and can be heard singing at any time of the year on a sunny day. It has also been introduced to Australia, New Zealand, and the Hawaiian Islands. Its song is delivered in a hovering flight from the heights of 50 to 100 metres. So I'm going to play that song now. So if you hear this, excuse me, if you hear this, you've got a skylark nearby. So here we go.
I love that call.
I love it. It's amazing. Absolutely glorious little song. It doesn't stop
It's
either. It just keeps
amazing.
going and
Yeah,
going and
I'm just gonna
going
run out
and
of
going.
breath.
And they're up there for ages. And like Barnacle says, love trying to spot them, wee dot in the sky. I find it really interesting because when I was growing up and I was out on the golf course, I could see them no problem whatsoever. And I never thought they were that high. And then a few years ago, I heard them singing and I just couldn't see them because they were so high up. But literally they hover over the same point. So they fly straight up and then they start hovering and performing the song, and then they slowly but surely drop down until they reach the ground again. And it's great to see. Highly recommend this, sitting down and watching some skylark sing. Glorious little things. But unfortunately, since I was a kid, it has suffered a 15% decline and is now a red-listed bird. There are believed to be around 1.5 million territories now in the UK. They can lay up to 4 clutches a year, but this is probably limited due to farming trends because they like to use farmland to nest, or open moorland. And obviously farmers will have a field with grass in it and they'll nest in amongst the tall grass, and then that might get mowed, or cattle might be put in there, whether it be cows or sheep or whatever, and they'll eat around and take all that and take all their cover away. There are 3 to 4 eggs per clutch. Incubation takes as little as 12 to a maximum of 14 days, and fledgling occurs from 11 to 16 days. The typical lifespan of a skylark is 2 years, but the oldest bird on record from ringing date was 9 years and 10 days old, from set in 2001.
Wow.
So there you go. So they can live for quite a while, but for such a small thing. I sometimes find them in my garden. They don't seem to bounce around like other birds, just walking and clambering around the vegetation. Yeah, I associate them most with the west side of the Isles, where people work the ground more. Yeah. But the 2 images you see here, they're 2 skylarks that I saw at Frampton Marshes. So
Lovely birds.
and different. I honestly adore these little things. They've got a beautiful little crest as well. The males especially like to show that. So this image that's on now is a male. You can see the crest, and then the other one I believe is a female.
I've never seen the, or never knew or seen the, they lower down as their call goes on. I really want to find one now, just watch it. It's slowly
Yeah, definitely. Them and woodlark are very similar. Woodlark have a much softer song. It's much more melody to it as well, I think. But I wouldn't recognise a woodlark song if I heard it. I'd recognise a skylark instantly. Again, just because I've grown up with it. And it's probably, out of all the birds, it's probably my favourite bird of everything. I love skylark. So one day I will get a great picture of a skylark in flight, just like I'll get a great picture of a kestrel hovering. But
and a lesser spotted
woodpecker. But thank you, Barnacle. Yeah, I do love them. I think they're amazing.
I can see why. It's like Pookie said, Veld means field, and then the Dutch name is Veldli Vedliuwerk.
Velderuwerk. I think that's what it is.
Much better.
Yeah, I don't think you pronounce the D. Velderuwerk.
Okay.
Maybe Velderuwerk. I don't know. Pookie will be giggling away, going, "That's terrible, Andy. It's atrocious."
Better than mine.
Well, I remember seeing I used to play a game, and something was released in that game in Dutch, and it looked like Goeden Loo, but it's actually Houden Leeuw is how you pronounce it. It's Golden Lion. So I was like, And I've got a Dutch friend who said, "No, Andy, that's not how you pronounce it. You pronounce it houden leeuw." I was like, "Okay, thank you for correcting that. I will try and call it that way." Okay. Field lion. Ah, that's cool. Field lion, Rick. That sounds like a what 3 words prompt. That's it. Yeah, good and Lou. Yeah, houden leeuw. Houden. The G's more of a. But there we go.
Wow.
Very, very cool. Now, before we move on, folks, I just want to do a quick spotlight on something else that's I'm going to be talking about more in May, but you guys can keep up with this now. It's a live webcam. It's from the Scottish Wildlife Trust, and it is of an osprey nest in Perthshire, just outside Dunkeld. If you've been watching the channel for a while, when I say the channel, I'm also taking RSPB Twitch TV into this. Last year you would have heard me talking about Loch of the Lowes, which is one of my favourite nature reserves up in Scotland. I visit almost every single time I go home, mainly to spot the ospreys. And in the last week, both the female and the male from last year have returned to the nest. The male, who's known as LM12, this is his 13th season using this nest. Okay, so I'm going to show a little video at the moment of him returning, the female, and a bit of mating as well, which is very exciting.
Wow.
So here we go. So this is the male. In the background you can hear some gulls. That's the pair. The female's known as NC0. See the shadow just in the water coming in on the left hand side.
It's a great scenery with the
It's
webcam.
amazing. And here's the mating. So I myself am going to be keeping a very close eye on this nest again. I did last year.
Nature's under threat.
We'll stop that. Osprey are one of my favourite raptors. Like I say, I go to this location every single year when I can. Normally in May. NCO, the females, normally sat on the nest, and you can see the male LM12 flying, circling, catching food, bringing it in. The viewpoint is amazing. The Scottish Wildlife Trust have set up a fantastic area. There are 2 hides for you to use, both very close together. One of them's 2-storied, so you can get a high point or a low point. The other one goes out a little bit into the loch, giving you a better angle. It's phenomenal. Last year, I saw 4 different osprey within the space of 5 minutes sat in one of them. 2 of them were invaders that had to be pushed away by LM12, while NCO was on the nest basically calling constantly to chase them off. So there we go. If you want to keep up with it yourself, the webcam is live. I'm posting the link now. It's on YouTube. Please watch this. It is phenomenal. I can show you what it looks like at the moment. There's nothing on the nest right now. It's in its night vision mode. But one of them was on earlier on before we started streaming. So, because I was watching it then. Last year, there were two chicks fledge. The year before that, there was 2 chicks fledge. So there's a good chance that you'll get some chick action again and stuff this year, which would be great. On top of all the ones that RSPB Twitch TV are showing, because they're showing Goshawk, they're showing Lochgarten goshawks and stuff again. They've also got osprey nests at Lochgarten as well, I believe. So you can check them out too on the RSPB Twitch TV channel. But for myself, this is the one I'll be watching because I absolutely love this location.
It's nice it has that personal link
Yeah.
as well with you. Makes it that much more special.
I remember my dad taking me there when I was probably about 6 or 7, and looking out. And back then, the resident female, was called Lady, and she was there for about 20 odd years or something like that. And every year she was successful apparently. So. And then I believe that NCO, the female at the moment, is a descendant of hers. Not a direct descendant, but she'll be like Lady will be the grandmother. So yeah, there we go. Which is just very cool.
I really want to see ospreys this year. I've never seen an osprey before, and there's a reserve near here which does have an osprey nest and cam and everything. So I'm very excited for them to return and go and have a look.
Yeah, definitely. They're a gorgeous bird. Only eat fish, nothing else. It's just fish. Watching them catch them again. I'll tell you, Mark Smith Photography. He's got some phenomenal videos of osprey of fishing osprey. Fun fact about osprey is they're one of only 3 raptors that are on every single what do you call them? So they're in Europe, they're in Asia, they're in the Americas, both north and south, and they're in Africa. Continents, there you go. So they're on every single continent, including Australia. So
the same species.
Same species across all of them.
Wow, I didn't know that.
The other 2 are barn owls and peregrines. So there you go. Fun fact of the day.
That's a good fun fact. Yeah.
Cool. Right. I think we're moving on to our last segment now. Which happens to be news. Is it good news or is it bad news? We will find out.
Shall I go first?
I'll let you go first, yeah.
I'll go first. Some of you may have seen this story already about the rescuing of a baby hedgehog, which turned out not to be a baby hedgehog. I saw this and I thought it was very funny and very cute. But it's a BBC article saying rescued baby hedgehog turns out to be a hat bubble. So a wildlife rescue that took in what was thought to be a baby hedgehog found out it was actually caring for a bubble from a hat. It was brought to the Lower Moss Nature Reserve and Wildlife Hospital by a well-meaning rescuer last week. On arrival, they discovered the hoglet was in fact a faux furry friend. A volunteer for the animal charity said, "Our hearts melted." The volunteer at the rescue, based in Knutsford, Cheshire, added. The rescue posted on social media a photo of the decorative ball, showing it nestled in a box beside a bowl of food. This adorable hoglet still got all the love, complete with some cozy TLC, the charity tweeted. Sometimes even the most heartwarming stories start with a hilarious twist. The charity, which offers educational trips for schools and other groups, looks after about 2,000 injured animals every year.
Well done them is all I'm going to say, because 2,000 injured animals is a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of animals.
Yes, I thought that was a
Excuse me.
uplifting
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that's quite.
Used
It's
music,
amusing. It's that thing that
wholesome and amusing.
somebody
Yeah.
thought it was real and took it in, and then you wonder how they broke the news to them that it's just a bauble off the hat.
Got some sad news about the hedgehog you brought in. Oh no, it's like that bubble.
Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed.
I can imagine it's embarrassing, but then just as everyone's just so lovely and just finds it funny,
Yeah,
I can find it funny so too.
yeah, that's cool. No, that's good. I like that one.
And then on a more not serious note, but um, bird-related news, uh, I found this on the Bird Guides website, and it's a story on tracking reveals skewer meeting points in the open ocean. A recent study by the British Trust for Ornithology, or the BTO, in collaboration with other research organisations, investigated Arctic skewer migration, revealing the species' use of predetermined mid-ocean meeting points during their long journeys. Arctic skewers, which is well known for its parasitic feeding behaviour, is in sharp decline and therefore much studied in an effort to understand the threats it faces. The BTO study sought to build knowledge of the skewer's migration routes and behaviour to better understand the threats it may face while travelling between the breeding grounds and wintering areas. The BTO fitted tracking devices on nesting Arctic skewers across northern Scotland, Norway, the Faroes, and Svalbard. The tracks gathered revealed the individual skewers' routes during the spring and autumn migration. Despite nesting in widely scattered locations, many skewers converged at specific mid-ocean sites to rest and feed while on their way between breeding sites and wintering areas. These remote ocean areas serve as key stopovers for various seabirds and other marine wildlife. After converging at these Atlantic hotspots, tracking revealed that the skewers disperse in different directions, meaning these critical areas serve birds that both breed and winter in a range of different locations and that they need protection. Nina O'Hanlon, senior research ecologist at the BTO, said, by identifying various routes and stopping off points these wide-ranging seabirds use, we can start to identify threats they may encounter along the way and further safeguard these areas. By revealing how extensively skewers mix during migration, we can also now better understand how their experiences during this period can impact the fate of multiple breeding populations. And I'd read this article and found it really interesting. And I'd also been reading, at the same time, this book here, called The Seabird's Cry by Adam Nicholson. And this is a book talking about just different seabirds, cool facts, stories, and things about them. And there's a chapter here on the fulmar, and in it they're talking about how fulmars take about 7-8 years to reach breeding maturity, and before, like after they fledge the nest and before they're mature enough to breed, they fly around searching for feeding areas. And one of the points they researchers found by using tracking on fulmars was that they were feeding at the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. So some of the birds which were nesting in Scotland or just in the UK would fly during the nesting season all the way to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, about 2/3 of the way to Canada, over about a week or so, eat lots of food, like fatten up and then gain food for the chick, and then fly about another week or so all the way back to their UK breeding site. And they knew about these food sources that Mid-Atlantic Ridge just because they've been flying around before they're mature enough to breed. I thought that was interesting just with how Arctic skewers do that. They stop off there during migration and then fulmars use it during the breeding. So it's like the same kind of idea with all these different species using Mid-Atlantic Ridge for, as they were saying, like feeding, resting. Like it's such an important area, which you think, oh, as a UK bird, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge can't be that important, but it's also interconnected and so vital for so many birds.
Yeah, it goes to show the importance of working with multiple different countries, multiple different charities, all across the country, all across the world, to make sure that it doesn't matter what species it is, they all have a fighting chance. Like swallows, we all know the journey swallows make, or house martins, or sand martins, or cuckoos. Now we're starting to learn, okay, skewers, fulmars, puffins, where do they all go during during the winter months?
Mm.
And even if it's for, like you're saying there, like heading a week to get food for the chick. So
Yeah, so the fulmars, they would fly for a few weeks all the way across the Atlantic,
just
feeding them
mad.
all the way back. Would you
Just
think during the BD season, they wouldn't go that far? Putting tracking and working out, they go ridiculously far.
I suppose like penguins though, is it emperor penguins? Like the male looks after the egg while the female goes off to feed, and then the male's
Mm.
left there for months,
Yeah, something like that is.
and then like obviously the female returns, the chick's already been basically hatched, and at which point the female starts feeding. So that's just it sounds very similar. Maybe not to the same
Mm.
extent, but to be away for 2 to 3 weeks to go get enough food to feed the chick, that's pretty impressive. Like does the other bird fish closer to home, so it's constantly feeding while one heads off to get the big meal, as it were. Go do the
Yeah, I
weekly
think
shop.
whilst the eggs incubating, um, then one would be incubating an egg whilst the other's going out for
Yeah.
like quite like several weeks, and then they swap over, and then once the eggs hatched, the fulmar chick, which is like special for the fulmar chick, it can just be left by itself,
Ah.
because it has these glands which can excrete very sticky, smelly, biley, oily substance.
Yeah.
Um, so it can be left by itself after the parents go off for ages to go and feed. So like back on Rathin, we saw this chick just by itself for weeks, and any other bird like gardeners or things you think it hasn't been fed by its parent for weeks, it has no chance. But eventually,
Somehow.
just come back for a few hours. And
Yeah. Sometimes it manages. That's incredible.
mm,
Absolutely incredible. Cool. Right. Shall we move on to my story now?
go for it.
I have a story. So my story is: a farm is planning on creating the biggest natural grassland in southern England. Lower Pertwood in Wiltshire aims to restore declining plants, insects, and endangered species. The rolling hills south of Salisbury Plain are a bleak scene of vast arable fields and tightly grazed pasture, dotted with scores of sheep. In recent decades, Lower Pertwood Farm has embraced organic growing, producing oats, barley, and other crops, while boosting numbers of rare corn buntings and other wildlife with wildflower banks and newly planted trees. But as wildlife continues to decline in Wiltshire and the farm's profits plummet amid an increasingly unpredictable climate, the owners are turning to farming nature instead. The 2,800-acre arable farm begins its transformation this spring into the biggest grassland rewilding project in southern England, in an attempt to restore declining plants, insects, and endangered species, including cuckoos, grasshopper warblers, and turtle doves. The Pertwood Plain project, masterminded by Restore, a land management company specialising in large-scale restoration, led by naturalist Benedict MacDonald, will ultimately see low densities of pigs and cattle roaming free to recreate flower-rich chalk grassland. This naturalistic grazing, alongside interventions such as adding green hay and brash piles, where birds perch and excrete seeds into the soil, will give rise to a mosaic of grass and scrubland teeming with invertebrate life. In the future, visitors could enjoy the return of extinct species, including the great bustard, which are no longer extinct in the UK. They have bred successfully last year or the year before, I can't remember. I did a piece on it last year, actually, but I'm pretty sure it was from the year before that they bred successfully. So you can see great bustard in the UK, which has been reintroduced to the nearby Salisbury Plain, and the charismatic redback shrike, which became effectively extinct as a breeding bird in Britain in the 1990s. And I saw redback shrike at Bempton Cliffs last year.
Hmm.
So that is fantastic news. I hope in 5 to 10 years' time that it is good enough for people to go and visit. that you can get in, quite happily pay to see like proper wildflower meadows and stuff like that are natural. I know it's managed land, but it'll be as natural as it can possibly be, and hopefully seen some phenomenal wildlife there as well.
How big was the area? Was it
2,800 acres?
Oh my! I guess it is that area where it's just massive farms, and that's a that's going to be amazing. How
Yeah,
much good that will do for wildlife. Because I'm in North Wales and it's just sheep field after sheep field. I'm just thinking, if just one of those was a wildflower meadow, that'd be incredible. But over 2,000 acres of wildlife managed area would be incredible.
yeah, it's amazing. My fingers are crossed for success. It'll be a lot of hard work. If they're looking for somebody to work there, I'm putting my hand up now.
Me too, yes.
I'll move. It'd be amazing. But there we go. Yes, Barnacle Bone, very encouraging.
Really nice, good news.
Indeed. So yeah, I think that's it. We've come to the end. We've been going now for how long have we been going for? We're going for 2 hours and 1 minute. There we go. 2 hours and 1 minute. I'm going to put some links in chat, folks. These are our socials. Are they working this time? Yes, I've got them working this time. They didn't work last week, but now they're working. There we go. And the other one is that. There we go. So that's all of our socials. We've got a few posts up on Twitter and Instagram at the moment. I didn't manage to upload the the stream from last week onto YouTube because I forgot to press a button. So hopefully it has worked this week and I can upload episode 2. And I'll also put my short video from the bird survey up on YouTube as well. So if you ever want to go back and watch any of those things, you're more than welcome to do so. But please click on those links, hit the follow button. All of it helps the channel. We're trying to build this and get seen a bit more, actually, because it'd be nice to have a slightly bigger viewers, which would be great, just so we can get to a point where we can start generating some cash so we can start paying out to some wildlife trusts and charities and things, which would be amazing, which is the goal. So, and then we can do
future ahead.
Yeah, I can do a little competition every month about about which charity it goes to, which would be very cool. And then whoever wins gets to choose the charity. I think that'd be fun.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. Got to have like a moth off and all those
moth
things.
Off, yeah. What we might have to do is do one every single month, and whoever wins that, we keep a tally mark. So like it could be like Nick 4. Cat 5, Andy 0.
No.
and
then 5 at least.
Yeah, and then whoever has the most over the year, the most wins over the year, gets to choose. Because I think that'd be really cool. But there we go.
That's really good.
So yeah. So remember, next week, folks. Next Wednesday we'll be back at 7:30. It will be our bee spotlight. We want as many pictures of bees as you can possibly get that you've seen and taken this year onto our Discord channel, link in the chat, in our wildlife encounters. I'm hoping to do something like this every single month where we can see, like, choose a species of something and see how many we can get. And we're looking at bees this time. So next month, who knows?
I'm excited to see how many bee puns we can fit into 2 hours.
It'll be interesting.
It will be.
Bee buzz. But yeah, and like I say, I've got do bumblebees count? Yes, all bumblebees, honeybees. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a cuckoo bee. It can be a bee fly. Anything with bee in it. I want as many of them as possible. I cannot wait. We're going to download all of them off of Discord. You will see them all next week on our channel. And yes, it'll be fantastic. It will be fantastic. I got one in already. Yeah, so that's Bee Spotlight next Wednesday, where all three of us, Cat will be returning. So yeah, booby bird. Oh no, we're not having any birds. I want bumblebees, bees, the buzzing type, buzz. Wasps count as well because bees are part of the wasp family.
A bee eater, says Pookie.
Oh,
Has bee
okay,
in the
bee
name?
eater it is.
If you see a bee eater.
If you can get an amazing picture of a bee eater, Pookie, I will put that onto the stream. There you go. And your just by the way, Pookie, your photographs have been amazing recently. It's looking great.
Yeah, Pookie's been amazing. Just like,
Yeah.
here's my gallery of amazing photos I went and sorted it. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
I saw all this today, and then I'm sat there going, oh, all I saw was a kitchen.
Hopefully no wildlife in
Damn
there.
it! But yeah, it's been cool. It's been a good night. I've enjoyed that,
Yeah, I loved it.
especially the bit about how to identify the skate and shark eggs.
Mm.
I really
It's
enjoyed
nice.
that bit. I didn't.
It's really easy. So let's just go onto the beach and actually know what you're seeing, which is nice.
Well, yeah, when I was in Wales last year, I saw quite a few, and I wouldn't be able to tell you what they were. Now I can tell you that they were skate eggs because they didn't have the curls on them. So that's something I've learnt tonight, which is very cool. I've got pictures of them
Yeah.
somewhere. See if I can find the pictures. Well, we're still on stream, you know. Andy just goes hunting for pictures. Pictures,
There's no
birds.
time.
There's always time. Let me look. Is that one? Oh no, it's not that one. It is that one. No, they did have curly bits. Ooh. Okay, can I?
Big or small.
Can I show these on stream? Let's see if I can figure this out.
Impromptu.
An impromptu photo. Oh no, that didn't work. That's not working for some reason. No, it's not working. Oh well.
Next week.
That one? Nope, not that one. That worked. That didn't work. That's interesting. That didn't. That worked. That worked.
You can sneak the word bee into the shark somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If you saw a bee land on the egg case, just happens to. Oh no, it's.
Yeah, no, I can't
include it in the stream.
I can't get it on stream without. Well, I could, but it'll take me a couple of minutes, and I'm not going to do that. There we go. I have one price flapper skate egg case. I call it mermaid's handbag. It's so big. Wow.
Yeah, so that's like, that's your classic like small
Yeah.
skate, but flapper skates like that kind of like it's
Oof.
like mermaid's purse is a proper handbag. I think I've seen one like when I was in the train. It's like this is what a flapper is. Like, oh, I feel like I've seen that before, but years ago. If you find like a massive skate case looking thing, then you've probably seen a flapper skate.
Very cool. Awesome. Right. Shall we call it there?
Guess we should.
We should. It is like 20 to 10. It's just the two of us. We've
carried
gone
away.
longer than we did last week. It's so many lifers. That's what it was.
I know it's been an exciting week.
It's been a very good week. I'll post it on Discord sometime. I was like, oh, says Barnacle Bomb. Yeah, definitely. That'd be amazing, Barnacle Bomb. Absolutely
I'd love to see
fantastic.
that.
Right, folks. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for joining us again. It has been absolutely amazing. Both myself and Nick will be back next week. Kat will be joining us again. We look forward to hearing what she's been up to in over the last 2 weeks. I think tomorrow I'm going to go and do, if the weather's all right, I don't mind a little drizzle, but I think I'm going to go to one of my little local woodlands and maybe do some birdsong recording and stuff like that and see what there is in the area, which would be quite cool.
Now you know what to look out for.
Yes. You're very welcome, Barnacle Bomb, and hopefully some more of that next week. So there we go. I might even
Yeah,
see some
put your bee
bees.
hats on. Yeah.
Might even see some bees. Amazing. Right. Let's call it there. We will see you next week, folks. Same bee time, same bee channel. I said a
Same
bat
BS.
bee, you see? Same BS. Rain day tomorrow, you're right, Picky, it is. Catch you all later, folks. Bye.
Bye.